Hi, I'm Jessy from A Bright Idea, and I'm a senior design specialist here, and today we're going to talk about a few tips and tricks on how to change color up in Photoshop. First, we're going to open up our design, and so I'm working on a brochure for one of our clients, United Way of Central Maryland, and we're going to be working on this brochure for their On Track for Success program. So it's a lot of photos of happy students and successful kids. So I like the way this cover is being put together, but the only thing I'm not crazy about is the students are wearing red and green shirts. So we're gonna take this photo and drop it into Photoshop and kind of go from there. So I have my photo in Photoshop, and so now what we're gonna do is create a layer mask. So essentially we're gonna duplicate this photo, and then we'll be able to isolate just the two shirts of the boys. So that way we're manipulating just the shirts and not the rest of the photo, because we don't want the rest of the photo to end up more blue or yellow. We just want to be able to edit the two shirts. So I'm gonna grab my pen tool, which is over here in your panel, or you can just press P, and then we're gonna do Command plus and zoom in really close on the edges of this shirt. And then we'll just start pen tooling right around the edges, and you want to stay pretty close as you can. It does not have to be perfect. You just kind of want your edges to be smooth, nothing too jagged, because that will show up later. But we are able to edit this, which I'll get to a little bit later. We'll clean everything up, make it look nice and natural around all the edges. All right, so now that we have the shirt selected, we can go ahead and make our mask and apply that adjustment layer, the one that's gonna change the shirt from red to yellow. So to do that, we wanna go up to our adjustments panel. If you don't already see that, go up to Window, select Adjustments, and Photoshop should populate it over here. It'll give you a whole bunch of options, and what we wanna click is the Hue Saturation panel. And that will bring up this little sub panel here, and if you just start to play with the levels here, you can see what it does to the color and see how it's affecting it. But what we want to do to make sure that this looks natural and all the hues are sort of consistent, we want to click on Colorize. So from there, again, just kind of adjust, make any changes. I think we want this to be a little bit more yellow, so we can bump up the saturation pretty good here. I think this is a pretty good starting point for where we want to be. We'll drop this into InDesign later, put it into the cover, see if it's meshing well with the colors that we already have there. So now we're going to work on this green shirt and change it to blue, something that fits in with the scheme of the cover a little bit more. So I've gone around him with the pen tool, and now we're going to go in, just go through the same process we did before in your adjustments layer and make a hue and saturation adjustment. So go back up here, click that, colorize, and again, just play with the scales, just kind of eyeball it what you think will look good. Once we get it back into design, we can always go and change that a little bit later. But so now that I'm in here, if we zoom in again, you can see that this is not very perfect. So we want to get rid of that green halo because we don't want to give away that this has been photoshopped by any means. So you're going to go into your layer mask over here on the background, select your brush tool, and then you want to get something that has almost no hardness in it. So keep it down around 0, and then I have the brush relatively small. So we also want to make sure that we're on white, so that way we're covering up the screen, not revealing it. So just kind of go around, make sure it's a natural sort of edge. Okay, so we have the photo dropped into our cover design, and I think everything looks good as far as the colors of the shirts go, but the one thing I'm noticing is that the green cover of this notebook is still kind of sticking out. So we're gonna go back into Photoshop and mask that out using our pen tool like we did with the shirts. Use that same technique to change the colors there too. So we'll just kind of quickly go around the edges of the notebook. And again, we can always clean up anything we may have missed or messed up along the way. Just trying to get all of the edges there. We're gonna make our selection, and then we're gonna add that adjustment layer. Select Colorize, and then we can change it to be a darker blue. Bring up the saturation, take down the lightness. And then we're just gonna go into that mask and clean it up with the brush tool around the edges. So here's our before and our after, and I think this is looking a lot better with the design. It's fitting in with the color scheme and kind of gives us the look and feel that we're going for with this brochure. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you want any more quick tips from a bright idea, click the caption below, visit us on Facebook, or subscribe to our newsletter.